Welcome to a recording of the FS300 scan station from Wicks and Wilson. You can see in the camera I have just held up a microfiche to the camera. This is a 5-row jacket. The FS300 scan station uses carriers to transport the microfiche throughout the machine. This way the microfiche is well protected during the scanning mechanism. As you can see, the microfiche is held in place within the carrier, and the carriers are then placed into the input hopper. Carriers are placed one on top of each other. The input hopper can take up to 10 carriers. However, we supply you with extension arms to the machine, and we can actually take up to 20 carriers in the input hopper. At the moment, you will see that I have 2 carriers in the input hopper. I will now press the scan button within the Wicks and Wilson FS300 software. A scan dialog box is then shown to the user, and the user can then select to scan the microfiche. The input hopper cam will now turn. The microfiche carrier will arrive in the scanning mechanism, and you will now see the microfiche carrier screw back and then forward in order for the microfiche to be scanned. On screen, you will see that the camera covers 1 row of information at a time. This is because the software has been told that you have a 5-row jacket. Therefore, the microfiche will take 5 passes to scan this particular microfiche. Once the microfiche has completed, blue frames will be shown on the screen, and these will be the frames that will be captured from the microfiche. You will see now it is taking its final pass in the software. And now the software will try and work out where your images are on the microfiche and then present to you blue frames. These blue frames are the images that are going to be saved from the microfiche themselves. Okay? We can display those blue frames. That frame that I have selected is now shown in the top right hand corner, and we can look in to see the detail on those frames by zooming in to the information. Should the user require, they can have a look at each of the frames and decide if they actually want to change the size of the frame. For instance, they could decide to change this to be perhaps 1 page captured rather than 2 pages. There is much flexibility within the Wicks and Wilson software. However, me as a user, I have decided that all of these blue frames are correct, and when I say correct, I can therefore accept here, and those images are now saved. You will see the carrier output to the output hopper, and you will see here a process window of the images being accepted. And within the directory up here, you will see that a directory of fiche number 2 has appeared, and here are the SIP images that have just been saved. For instance, here I can look at image number 7 and preview that screen and see that my image has been recorded as a TIFF file digitally saved off. I have just shown the scanner in what we call the assisted mode, which is more of a manual mode. I will now show the scanner in what we call the batch auto mode. So again, I have 2 carriers in the input hopper. This time I switch the software to be into batch check mode. I now ask the scanner to scan and say OK to the scan dialog box, and the scanner is now in batch auto mode. A carrier is passing through the machine backwards and forwards, scanning the microfiche. At the moment, nothing is displayed on screen, unlike assisted mode. Eventually, once the fiche has finished and has been scanned, the images will appear on screen. When the microfiche has finished scanning, you will now see the microfiche pass to the output hopper. You will now see that the input hopper has now taken its final carrier, and the carrier with the next microfiche is being scanned whilst the operator can work upon the images that have been saved from before. So the operator can always still look at the images. They can display them in the right-hand corner, and they can simply tab through the images to see that each one has been correctly captured. The operator can still change anything about the frame should they wish. They could decide to even rotate a frame, maybe 90 degrees. And you will now see that frame has been marked to be rotated 90 degrees. There are many features in the Wicks and Wilson software. When the operator is happy, they can accept. In the meantime, the microfiche has finished scanning, so it appears here in the output hopper. You'll see the previous images have been scanned, and now the software tells me it has no more microfiche in the input hopper, and we can decide to accept or reject the previous fiche that has been scanned. I hope this presentation of the FS300 has been useful for you. Thank you.